Most people assume you need intense exercise to reduce anxiety. That's actually not the case. In fact, for many anxious people, intense exercise can make things worse. And the research shows that the best type of exercise for your anxiety isn't the hardest one. 20-minute walks can be life-changing, but only if you do it in a specific way. Unfortunately, there's one mistake almost everyone makes that cancels most of the benefits, and I'll show you exactly what that is. I'm Dr. Air, quadruple board certified psychiatrist and anxiety expert. Let's talk about 3 specific things that happen inside your brain and body during a 20-minute walk that make you one of the most underused anxiety interventions in existence. The third one is something most doctors never talk about. And once you understand it, you'll never think about walking the same way again. Number 1, the stress hormone reset. When you feel anxious, your body has systems designed to help you cope with stress. These systems produce hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Chronic anxiety can lead to either excessive or blunted responses to these stress hormones. Think of it like a pressure cooker. Those stress hormones are the steam building inside. If you sit still at your desk, on a couch, in your car, that pressure keeps building. Your heart stays elevated, your muscles stay braced, your brain stays locked in threat mode. When you exercise, this helps regulate your stress hormones. It's like releasing the valve which drops the pressure. Now, here's where the research gets interesting. Studies show that both moderate and intense exercise significantly reduce anxiety symptoms compared to no exercise at all. Both work. The largest meta-analysis, a study that combines many studies to find the best answer on exercise and anxiety, actually found that lower intensity and shorter duration produce the strongest effects overall. But other studies show that higher intensity can produce faster results, especially in people who are already motivated and comfortable with exercise. So what does that mean for you? If you're new to exercise, dealing with health anxiety, or your nervous system already feels overloaded, start with moderate walking. It's sustainable, it works, and it won't trigger additional stress on a system that's already stretched thin. If you're someone who feels better after a hard workout, who finds intensity energizing rather than depleting, then higher intensity exercise may give you faster relief. The best exercise for anxiety is the one you'll actually do consistently over time. This becomes more pronounced as we get older. Chronic stress over the years changes how efficiently your body manages stress. For many adults in midlife, men and women alike, the recovery window shrinks. Movement stops being optional. It becomes medicine. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes with anxiety. They try to think their way out of it, but it doesn't work. Because anxiety isn't just a thought. It's a biological state. It's your nervous system. Number 2, the brain chemistry shift. Walking doesn't just lower your stress hormones, the bad stuff. It raises the good stuff. Within minutes of walking, your brain starts releasing serotonin and dopamine, the same chemicals that anti-anxiety medications target. Your body starts producing them naturally, just from moving. But there's a third chemical most people have never heard of, and it may matter more than both of those combined. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF like fertilizer for your brain. It strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking, emotion regulation, and decision making. When you feel anxious, the part of your brain that helps you think calmly, the prefrontal cortex, becomes less active, while the part that senses danger, the amygdala, becomes more active. This means the thinking part has trouble controlling the alarm part, which is why anxious feelings can feel so hard to manage. Everything feels more threatening than it actually is. Small problems feel catastrophic. Uncertainty feels unbearable. Movement and exercise help to bring the prefrontal cortex back online. Research shows that even a single 20-minute walk increases BDNF. This helps your brain shift from survival mode back to safety mode. And for chronic anxiety, that effect compounds. The more consistently you move, the more resilient your brain becomes. Before I go on to number 3, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more science-based information on anxiety treatments. As you know, anxiety can be crippling and frustrating. just like it was for a patient I'll call Marcus, who had struggled with anxiety for years. In his words, I'm never fully off. Even on vacation, there's this pressure, like I'm always waiting for something to go wrong. He had carried that feeling for years. He had normalized it, assumed it was just who he was now. When I asked about daily movement and exercise, he paused. I used to run years ago, he said, but I stopped. I didn't think it was connected. That connection, I told him, is everything. Now, here's the third mechanism. It's called the motor to emotion brain connection. I'll explain. Most people think of movement and emotion as separate systems. Your legs do one thing, your feelings do another. New neuroscience says that's not the case. When you walk, your motor cortex, the part of your brain controlling movement, sends signals through a relay station called the thalamus directly to your prefrontal cortex, the same region responsible for calming anxiety. Movement and emotional regulation are talking to each other in real time. But here's the part that genuinely surprised me in this new research. Scientists identified a specific pathway from the cerebellum, a structure we've always thought of as just a movement coordinator, the part that keeps you balanced and coordinated, that connects directly to the amygdala, your brain's alarm system. When you move, this pathway actively suppresses anxiety responses. It accesses the alarm system and lowers the volume. And here's what makes it even more compelling. The more challenging the movement, the stronger that calming signal becomes because it recruits additional brain cells that amplify the effects. And brain imaging studies confirm what happens over time. After aerobic exercise, the amygdala shifts how it responds to the world, showing stronger connections to positive emotions and weaker connections to fear. In people who exercise regularly, that shift is even more pronounced. But here's a mistake many people make. They walk while scrolling on their phones. But when you scroll while you walk, you keep your nervous system in the exact same reactive, overstimulated state you're trying to escape. You're feeding the anxiety loop while simultaneously trying to break it. The walk works because it gives your nervous system a break from input, from noise, from demands. The moment you put a screen in front of your face, you cancel some of the benefits. Here's the prescription: 20 minutes minimum. The anxiety reducing effects build significantly around that mark. Pace, your choice. Moderate if you're new to this, feeling depleted or your anxiety is already high. More intense if that's what energizes you and you're comfortable with it. Both work. The one you'll stick to is the right one. Moderate walking is when you walk fast enough that your heart beats a little faster and you breathe a little harder, but you can still talk to a friend without gasping for air. Vigorous walking is when you're moving so fast that you're breathing hard and can only say a few words at a time before needing another breath. It's almost like a slow jog. The US Physical Activity Guideline recommends at least 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic exercise or 75 to 150 minutes per week of vigorous intensity aerobic exercise. When walking, avoid phone scrolling. Music is fine, but silence is better. Walk outdoors if possible. Natural light, especially morning sunlight, helps regulate your cortisol rhythm. And a regulated cortisol rhythm means better sleep. Better sleep means less anxiety. If sleep is already a struggle, I've created a free sleep guide in the description below. As you walk, pay attention to what's around you. The sound of your footsteps, the temperature of the air. Sensory grounding activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Remember Marcus? 8 weeks later, he came back. Same job, same stress load, same life. But something had changed. He was much calmer. His anxiety had significantly reduced because he had made some lifestyle changes and was also walking regularly. To find out more about non-medication strategies to help reduce anxiety, watch the next video.